Hello and welcome back to this Python series. In the previous lesson we talked about how to convert strings to either uppercase or lowercase, and this lesson will also deal with strings, but this time we are going to talk about how to print strings in reverse. So I'm going to show you two ways that we can do this. The first option is through string slicing, and the second option is through the reversed function. So I will show you both ways that we can do it in this video tutorial today. So let's go and jump straight into the first example. So head over to the file editor window right over here, and we are going to declare two variables. The first one will contain the original string, and the second variable will contain the line of code that will reverse that string. So let's go ahead and start typing. I'm going to go ahead and call the first variable simply as original string, just to make things easier. And this string, we're going to type in the two quotation marks right here, make it say hello world. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we will do the reversed string variable, and we're going to type in what we called our original variable name, which is original string. So type that down exactly as it is, and then we're going to type in two square brackets, and then we're going to do two colons, and then put a -1 right next to them. And then we can print that out. You can print reversed string out onto the interactive shell. So make sure you are printing the second variable and not the first variable, which has the original string. I'm gonna go demonstrate right now. And as you can see, it prints out hello world backwards, exactly as we intended. I'm going to go ahead and also try out another example. Let's do a full sentence this time. So let's go ahead and do, this is an example of a reversed sentence. I'm going to run that. And as you can see over here, it says, this is an example of a reversed sentence. It goes ahead and reverses that. So if I go over here, if you can see these two colons, it's easier to explain if I actually put this in a Python comment, so I'll go ahead and do that right now. You can think of this slicing notation as saying, essentially it's saying start, colon, stop, and then step. Now if you notice, we left the start and stop as blank in this bracket. Now the reason for that is because we don't want to specifically specify where to start and where to stop. What we instead want to do is we want to take every single character that is inside that string and make sure it's printed in reverse. We don't want to have a range of what to manipulate. We want to manipulate everything. So it won't matter how long the string is, just as long as it can contain everything. So it's basically saying whatever is inside that string, print it backwards and don't have any limits. So that's why we leave start and stop blank. Now for step, and why it's -1 is because what -1 does is it goes ahead and makes the program look at the string from right to left. It will reverse the order of the characters, and that's why when we printed it out, it is all backwards like this. So because we don't have a start and stop, we don't have start and stop being referenced, it doesn't matter how long the string is. So that's one example of how we can reverse a string using this. I'm going to go ahead and comment this out right now, and then let's do our second example. And that is what we're going to do. So we're going to go and do the reversed function. So for this, we're going to be using the same variable names. So let's type in original string. So enter the following code. I'm going to just do hello world. Reversed string equals, and then this is important because what we're going to do is we're going to join them with the join method and concatenate the elements into a single string. So what we're going to type out is two quotation marks dot join. So this is the join method, and then do reversed, and then type in original string, and that with two closing brackets, and then what we're going to do next is print out the reversed string. Let me go ahead and run the program, and there we go. Once again, it says hello world backwards, and I'm going to type in another one. This is the second example. I'm going to go ahead and run it just to prove that it works exactly as intended, and there you go. As you can see, that sentence is printed backwards. So let's break this down. So how it differs from the first block of code. Over here in this line, this reversed string variable, the reason why we are leaving this blank, this string, this quotation marks, is because actually it'll be easier if I demonstrate what happens. If I go ahead and type in a character like W, I want you to notice what happens in between each separate character in that string. If you notice, it does T, W, H, W, I, W, S. It's basically printing out W between every single letter or every single character in that string. Let me go ahead and make it more clear by typing in a period. And as you can see over here, it does the same thing. When it concatenates the strings together, it puts a dot in between that. So that's the reason why if you have a problem, make sure that it is empty in that string. You don't even have a space, because if it has a space in it, it will print out that sentence with spaces between each character. So what you want to do is, when you concatenate the strings together, when you join them together rather, you want it to be just simply a blank string with no spaces and no extra characters. So that will print out the sentence exactly as we intended to do. So it's an empty string that's used as a separator, so there should be no separator in between those characters. Alright, so that's how you can reverse strings in Python using these two methods. So I'll see you in the next lesson, where we'll be talking about functions more in depth. So stay tuned for that.